Welcome back to Opinion Journal Live. I'm Jason Riley, and my next guest is Democratic pollster Stan Greenberg, who is joining us from Charlotte. Welcome.
Good. Delighted to be here.
Mr. Greenberg, how would you grade the Democratic convention so far? Are the Democrats accomplishing what they need to this week?
Not an incomplete. I'm not as high a grade as I think I could give. I mean, I've watched what they have built, the argument they have built in the first night and second night, and the platform I think they've created for the president. I think they can get as much, I think, as possible in this polarized political environment, out of this convention.
Okay, now the conventional wisdom, no pun intended, as I understand it, is that the race was essentially tied coming out of Tampa. Do you think the Democrats can get a nice bump out of Charlotte? And what would you need to see in the polls to be convinced that this was a successful convention?
Okay, well, I mean, the conventional wisdom, not conventional wisdom, the real polling, not just my polling, but across all the polling, the president had about a 3-point advantage for, many months before we began the, convention period. I think Tampa was even. Most of that actually happened before Tampa with, I think, Ryan's selection. I think I can think of it's a couple-point gain in that. Now, even coming into the Democratic convention, I think minimally you would expect the president to go back to the 3 or 4 point position that he was in. The issue is it possible, in this kind of polarized environment, to have a bounce that we've seen historically? Okay. It looks to me like Romney will go back to the 45 or 46, where he was. I think he did, no work for himself. Okay. And I think if a really good bounce, you could see a 5 or 6 point lead for the president. But,
all right.
But again, I would expect that to go back to the 3 or 4 point, structural, position.
And one last question. We got about 30 seconds. Is Romney winning in a way by keeping it this close? I mean, should Obama be worried at this point that he's been unable to pull away? No,
I think the opposite. I mean, you have 60% of the people saying this is wrong, the economy's on the wrong track. President's job approval is at, 47%. Why is, we have 8% unemployment. Why isn't this a blowaway? Where every place else across the OECD world, the incumbent leaders have been thrown out, major drop in their standing. That hasn't happened here, and lots of reasons why. So I think Romney has catch up if the president comes back to the advantage he had prior to the convention.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it as well.